let's begin, shall we? The projector that helps the effect on the statue of Mara has actually been brightened up, so pretty much they replaced the actual lamp inside the projection. So it's brighter. They also increased the volume above the statue before we turn into the Gates of Doom, so it's actually louder. The Indiana Jones animatronic blocking the Gates of Doom inside the Tunnel of Torment has had its movements enhanced, so it moves wonderfully like it first did when they actually introduced this animatronic for the very first time in 2010. The audio as well has been significantly increased, and a new placement of smoke has been added. They brought back the curtain that's behind the Gates of Doom, and they also fixed up the fan, so the curtain looks as if there's mysterious powers behind the Gates of Doom. And I feel like they need to increase it, just like how they increased the volume above the statue. In the Cavern of Bubbling Death, they fixed up all of the black lights, so the painted areas in the chamber are far brighter now. The Mummy Chamber as well has received the same black light enhancement. The fake Jeep headlights have also been brightened up. The Snake Temple has had the black lights fixed and repositioned. The lava pit received brand new LEDs underneath the plastic shells, so everything for the pit looks wonderfully brighter and better. The Boulder Chamber has received some light enhancements. The white light that exposes the boulder when it gets closer has actually been with the attraction for a while, but originally, this light in particular has always been at least dim, but now they have re-sequenced it to where it remains bright when the boulder gets closer. The Indiana Jones animatronic in the Boulder Chamber has some new lights aiming towards him. However, these aren't actually new lights. These have been with the attraction for some time. I believe they were first introduced, I could be wrong, but I think these lights were introduced in 2014. So now they have been sequenced to stay on. Okay, on to the last thing, unfortunately. So with this particular movement that was added to the Indiana Jones animatronic back in 2017, they enhanced it here. It's far more noticeable. Originally, I thought this was a hydraulic error, but I guess not. This is something new, and I actually like it because it's pretty funny to think about if you look at it, and it makes a lot of sense. I like it. It's really clever.
Now, don't tell me that wasn't big fun.
Now for what hasn't been fixed. The projection sequence for the statue is still delayed 2 seconds after the source audio. So the statue getting into the angry face can be clearly seen not syncing up with the audio. The doorway before the Tunnel of Torment is now left entirely in utter darkness. There was one video that showed for a split second some blue lighting. Unfortunately, it was too short. This is one of the sequencing errors that are out of sync. The audio for the Indiana Jones animatronic halfway up the ramp seems to be the problem to where we are not able to hear the audio correctly. As shown here, we can see that this is the possible placement of the speaker that's not activated, or it's been removed. The broken nose of Mara is shooting its laser as well as the mini explosion are both out of sync. The sequence is going off too early. One of the speakers in the mummy chamber is rather quiet, which is the first screech. The bridge has 4 errors. The ropes no longer move, and this effect has been off for years now. The only time that I can recall this effect working was in 2014. The lighting for the bridge is rather darker than normal. The fake mini explosion at the right hand side of the vehicle has been having issues for many years now. It goes off incorrectly at times, or it just doesn't go off at all. The snake still remains to be out of sync. And with that, the snake itself is stuck in mid-attack. So it's looking down at the floor, at least in an angle. I was going to put the mini fire effect in here, but it seems that they may have fixed this. But the error was the effect going off with the other fireball when you did the dip and drop underneath the bridge. The lava pit is missing smoke. There was a video that showed the smoke being there for like a day or two, but for some reason they turned it off. The purple light that exposes the fake vines in this room where your Jeep stops are entirely off. The rats, as usual, are too dark and the size is too small. The Indiana Jones animatronic in the boulder chamber is moving way too slow. It's been like this since 2017. The reasoning as to why this is the case is due to the fact that they replaced the rope that was cut off in 2014 with one that has been stiffened with some type of hardening material. So the rope no longer moves freely, and because of this, the animatronic has been set to move slowly. The head of the animatronic moves slow as well, but when they did this change, the head actually moved at a normal speed, just pretty well. And then I think 2019 rolled around the corner, and the head just began to move very slow. And then as that continued, the head completely stopped moving all at once. And the hat of Dr. Jones looks rather round. Also, because the rope is pretty much a fake one, the animatronic's shoes are not placed together. So the detail of this looks wrong. The orange light above the Indiana Jones animatronic goes off when the ride is backed up, so whenever your vehicle is in the room and it stops entirely, the light above the animatronic will dim and turn off until the scene starts up again. Recent video from LMG Vids shows that they were in the boulder room for a little while. I don't know how long they were really in there, because LMG does cut his videos a bit if the ride's backed up. But you can see that the orange light above the Indiana Jones animatronic, like I already mentioned, the light dimmed out entirely. But all of a sudden, the two lights that are aimed towards the Indiana Jones animatronic turn off as well. I don't know how long they were in that room for, because again, LMG cut his video down a little bit. As that happened, behind the boulder, you can actually see people with flashlights doing some type of work back there, because the boulder was stuck if you watch the video. You don't see this at all, okay? You don't see this often. This is rather strange, but that's why I'm bringing it up here. This shouldn't be something happening, and it is. It's just weird. So the first time you enter the boulder chamber, you will hear the audio for the animatronic playing perfectly fine. So above the animatronic, there's actually a speaker right here, as you can see. And then further down, pretty much at the entrance of the boulder chamber, there's a speaker there. But for some reason, when we go into the second phase of the scenario of the boulder chamber, the audio for the animatronic switches to another speaker. That's why you're not able to hear the animatronic until the room has fully moved all the way forward, because there's a speaker that's kind of somewhere along the lines halfway into the chamber itself. So pretty much in the midsection. I don't understand why there's a speaker here, and the audio has never done this for as long as I've really ridden it. I've never heard the audio transition to a different speaker, which is just confusing and makes no sense to the context of the room itself. So I don't know exactly why this is happening. Again, the only people who know and probably have an explanation to this are the Imagineers. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get any of these issues properly directly sent out to the Imagineers through Guests and Services, because unfortunately, Guests and Services removed the original phone number that you were able to call, so you can actually talk about the issues directly to them. And because I'm not at the park directly, I cannot go up to a cast member and tell them the issues with the attraction. And I'm only able to go through messages. But that's what I found out about the boulder chamber, and the real reason why the audio is playing back that way. It makes sense that now I understand why, but the thing that doesn't make sense is, why is it playing like this? It shouldn't. I don't know, but that's all I could find out. Alright, so here's another thing that's part of the boulder chamber. for like, I don't know how long, but forever. It took until this year to find out the actual name of these. I used to call them fake vines, but they're actually called raffia hanks. It's an actual plant that is widely used for decorations of all sorts. Okay, let's go to the next thing before I have this thing going any longer. Okay, so something a little silly, but I wanted to bring up here are the shoes on the Indiana Jones animatronic. So when the ride was actually brand new, there were shoes that were presented in the boulder chamber, as you can see in this picture here. They look to be very similar to the Alden 405s, but I can't guarantee if that's what they really are. Unfortunately, I'm not able to find any more information on what type of shoes are actually used, but somewhere in 2010, they got rid of these shoes. I believe it was possibly November, and they replaced the shoes with these ones. Now, I've been trying to find what these shoes are as well, but I can't really find anything, so they gotta be some type of combat boot of some sort. I'm not really sure. But if they ever plan to actually bring back at least bring back shoes that resemble the actual shoes, then here are these ones from DSW. They're on clearance right now for a really good price, to be honest. But the thing is, the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because of the new placement of lighting towards the Indiana Jones animatronic. It actually exposes the shoe design underneath, and you can clearly tell it doesn't look right. It's due to the sheer fact that, well, hello, we're supposed to be in the year 1935, and these shoes wouldn't really fit at all. They actually don't fit the timeline of the Indiana Jones attraction. So it looks pretty wrong, to be honest. But aside from that, if they ever do plan to bring the shoes back, at least shoes that look right, or just I like the shoes, to be honest, but having that weird design doesn't look right. They should just get rid of the lights from the sides and just have the orange light as it was originally. Oh, and I also forgot to mention this as well, but see, with these shoes, they look, I think they're a little too big. Because if you look at this picture, it looks as if the shoe is just too large, and it looks a little too bulky. It doesn't really look similar to the shoes that are worn in the film. I understand that Disney is not going to spend so much money on getting shoes that resemble the actual shoes in this generation of time, I can probably assure. But I can guarantee you that the shoes that I'm showing right here are probably worthy to get. And I'm pretty sure it's in the possibility of being perfected if they do that. So that's kind of why I brought this up. Like I said, it was a little silly. Now, the last thing that has been stuck like this since 2012. It rarely occurred in 2011. It rarely occurred in 2012. Before that, 3-month refurbishment. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, give your round of applause for the incorrect score. Woo! You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Exactly nothing. A new error with this has also appeared, which is really strange. You'll have the solid audio track delayed a few seconds after the Jeep has begun to move for the adventure. Then it finishes. With that, you hear this piece of audio play a few moments after.
As you enter the Chamber of Destiny, do not look into the eyes of the idol.
This is from a show that was featured around the park known as, remember, Dreams Come True. You had Indiana Jones as part of the show. This audio piece was never really meant for the ride, so this is strange. Then not 2 seconds later, you hear a static cutoff sound. And with that, you hear Sala saying, "Hello?" So throughout the video, if you guys ever like to watch it, you will hear musical pieces missing, or playing in the wrong scene of the ride. Give yourselves a listen if you ever get the chance to. So, I do hope that sooner or later, I really hope soon, all these issues can be corrected. Okay, so before I do end this video entirely, I want to state that the next video that's coming up is going to be talking about the incorrect score and what the heck it even is. Now, I want to apologize for not uploading. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff outside of YouTube, and I think I lost a few subscribers, unfortunately. It sucks, but I'm trying everything I can to get this channel to grow up. It's kind of dead right now, but I do severely apologize. But for those who've stayed, you know, subscribed and are enjoying at least some of the content that's out right now, I do appreciate it. But again, I do apologize for the lack of uploads. I'm trying everything I can, okay? Everything I can to fix everything so I can actually upload it. So there's been a lot of stuff on what I've been wanting to do, and unfortunately I have not been able to successfully do them because of a lot of stuff outside of YouTube. So please don't just unsubscribe. I know that you guys are kind of wanting to jump off the channel pretty quickly, and I know it's not really spicy, but I'm trying everything I can. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video talking about what in the world the incorrect score is and why I even came up with such a name. See you guys in that video if I ever finish it.